All right, everybody, welcome back for another recap review show here at Big O Belt Media as we are ready to jump into episode 5 of season 3 of Raising Kanan, where this episode is titled Brothers and Keepers, where this episode is written by Naja, Rayne and directed by Joy T. Lane. It is Lucas. It is I, Nigeria. We're ready to break this entire episode down as we do here for our recap show. I'm starting it off tonight because, well, Lucas is still going to do what he do, but I'm starting it off because I have to tell y'all each and every week. I know it's the holidays. I know y'all done had so much love. Santa Maida came through, did all that good stuff. I know New Year's Eve is right around the corner, and then on to 2024, new year, new you. I get it. I get all of that. I get it. But I have to keep telling you all, stop supporting these leaks. Stop supporting these channels that are leaking things. Stop supporting these Facebook groups that are leaking things, because it kills the show. So you know how y'all was all complaining all about like, oh, when we gonna get the new announcement for Forrest? When's Ghost coming back? Da 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 da. These things hurt every bit of that wish, desire, all that y'all want to happen. These leaks monumentally hurt. And if you do not know financially how leaks hurt, I know y'all heard about the leak for Grand Theft Auto, and I know y'all heard about the leak for Insomniac. So I'm trying to tell you, these things are detrimental to shows, and the fact that you all not only are aware of them, but then support them and then further leak it is only furthering the virus of and the detriment of these shows by doing so. So once again, please stop supporting the leaks, because by telling folks, by leaking it further, by further bringing attention to it, it just only hurts your favorite actors, your favorite writers, your favorite directors. Even if Stars is your favorite network, all of them take a blow by this, and it's not cool at all. It's not cool. So I wanted to make sure I started off the show by again bringing to you all's attention that there's been another leak with this episode. So some of you all may already be aware of the things that are happening in this episode before tonight. But here we go once again, episode 5. Somebody being a Bama out there and trying to kill one of our favorite shows and one of our favorite universes on one of our favorite networks. So do yourself a favor and do not support the leaks. Lucas, how you doing today?
Feel like such a hypocrite. Yes, don't support the leaks. I ain't saying don't watch it, but if you're gonna watch it, at least watch the episode also. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying. As a man who at one point in my life was a bootleg movie,
we had this. Every black home had a scrambler. Everybody had a scrambler.
Like
but I was also very young and ignorant.
Yeah.
Like now we own streaming services and subscriptions, and even get it free and still got a subscription, right? I still pay for Stars.
Ain't even out here like folks ain't even out here like spoiling the whole episode. Y'all spoiled one picture that happens to be the biggest part of the episode, which out of context can absolutely ruin it. So again, I'm hoping y'all made it all the way here, as we're going to jump directly into that moment right now. I hope y'all made it here without being spoiled on that moment. And that moment is what appears to be the death of Unique. So while we're going to get into it later on in the episode, because we're going to play it full out, especially that whole scene between the brothers, what do you think about this possibly being the end of Unique?
I'm going to answer just a little bit different. I'm going to focus on Joey. And I got to say, phenomenal artist, we already know. Still cooking right now, by the way. Ain't like he just fell off and transitioned to television. Still cooking. What he brings to this show is a presence, an energy, and a performer that you automatically buy into his characters, you buy into his scene, you fall for his little smooth talking, mannerisms and words that he gives off. Like anything he does, you watch. He's a tremendous actor, very underrated too. A lot of folks on this show is underrated by means of accolades, shall I say.
Yeah.
But Joey has stood toe to toe with Bettina, who we know and arguably is the best actor of the show. And that's a lot. Speaking that there's
Of
some
the Power
legends of the show.
universe. Of the Power universe.
That's a hot
be
take.
clear here. Yeah.
That's a hot take. I will down that hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, to keep it short and concise here, man, I just got to say that for everything Joey brought to the show, if this is absolutely the end of Unique, I will be upset. The fashion, the scenes that he makes must watch, even this character that brings this sort of just, for lack of better words, unique balance to the drug game, where it's like, you know, him across from Rock, him across from the Italians, him across from the Vietnamese guy. I mean, every scene that you're just like, you're interested to see what he's going to do next, and he does it in such a smooth, slick way that you just buy into it. So it would be crazy. It would be crazy. And as much as Burt death hurt me, as much as I love Shanley, this one would hurt. This one would hurt. And I know we're going to put an exclamation point at the end of the show if we're going to decide if this is truly the end or not. But as I'm speculating right now, if this is the end, ooh, it would hurt. It would hurt. It would hurt. And I say that if it is, Grantham is a very, very nice replacement in terms of our villain. That other essence in there. There's a lot to make with that. But that's my take. Let me hear from you. What is your thought?
I don't know what to say. It's power, and I paid a lot of attention to the way they shot the body being thrown down the hill and a close up on Unique's face. Because I'm pretty sure I'm like a lot of people, and I expected his eyes to open up right then and there. But it's power. This is the 5th episode. You're not going to get that opening right then and there in that spot. So it's kind of hard to tell if they're planning on killing him off, or they wanted that big moment before the next episode, and to leave you in limbo, because Power is known to do that with a lot of deaths. If Kanan from the original series can survive a burning building falling on top of him, I'm pretty sure Unique can survive a few pipe shots to the head. I mean, Shawn Michaels did. I mean, I can't name the wrestlers who said Mankind is still alive. So why can't I hold on to Unique still being alive here? But again, it does present an interesting dynamic that we're going to talk about later when we really, really get into if he is gone and how that frames Ronnie moving forward, and what does that do with Rock moving forward? Because I think we saw that the death of Dean definitely sent waves through the streets. If Unique is dead, everyone's only going to do, especially Rock, is going to know who did it. Just like she knows because of Unique who killed Dean. So again, it's going to bring a lot of interesting questions moving.
You said Unique, but Ronnie that killed Dean.
Yeah. Then when Ronnie killed him, so she would know this, and it's going to bring a lot of issues moving forward for Ronnie. But again, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But first, we're going to go back to the beginning of the episode because go ahead.
Let me just add one quick note too: is that there is no new episode next week, January 5th. There's no new episode. So what is once again buzzword? No, sir. No. See, we watch enough television. This is episode 5. When the hell do they say episode 5 is a break between 5 and 6? This is different because they always get that weird. This was 7 or 8, whatever it is.
I thought at first this used to be the normal break for the original Power. Because we would get to that 5th episode and then it would break. Yeah, that's what it is.
If it is, I think it's been so long. But
I think the first season of Ghost did it, but then no one else did. After that, they gave you like episode 9, you get the break.
Yeah.
But that's when they were trying to bridge all the series together.
And
bridge them together.
And even the original Power did. This is the new regime of stars, and they've always did that wonky episode 7, episode 8, episode 9 little break. So a true mid-season break here tells me that I love this ending even more for us to speculate. But then we're back for episode 6, and then you come back with Shooters, the director, and then the director of episode 7 is Sasha Penn. So this tells me right here, they are ramping up something special. And then you already know who's closing it, Eve. It's always Eve. If it ain't Dion, it's Eve, but it's definitely Eve
Yeah.
here. So it tells me this is a true mid-season here.
They want to hit you over the head with the back end of this season and really mess you up, because I think this is a pivotal season for raising Kanan, because at this point we are really seeing everything in the focus of who these characters who we've been waiting for to reveal a little bit of their personality traits that we saw in the first Power season.
Yeah,
like all of it is first Power series. I'm sorry, all of it is now starting to form in the way that these characters are moving. So by the end of this season, you can expect something explosive. That's why it wouldn't be a surprise if this is Unique's death, because unfortunately,
it could go either way.
Unless I'm crazy, I don't remember hearing his name at all before this series.
In terms of acting?
It wouldn't be surprised. No. In terms of the Power universe.
Yeah. And then I was just going to quickly say too that to your point, this is the first season where they don't have to establish characters anymore. We know these characters now, so we can say, "Oh, I know how Rock act. I know how Kanan act." So this, and I think Sasha even kind of mentioned this in our interview, which y'all can check on the channel. That this dude feels like, no, Patina mentioned it. This is the first season that they could just hit the ground running, and that's what they've been doing. So I think if you're talking about how they're building this season out thus far, this ending, damn near, if you didn't know no better, could be a season finale. Period.
Yeah.
And you could be like, all right, can't wait to see what happens next. Is he really dead? Is he not? You know, what's the ramifications of some of the other things we'll talk about, but yeah. But anyway, let's get into it, because you know,
here's the other thing. One quick thing, then we're definitely gonna get to this episode. This is also why a lot of people question, how did they get a 4th season before season 3 premiered? We remember in original Power, when they had any leeway, that's when you got the most explosive seasons, because they knew we already got the next season. So we can go completely in on this season and give you everything we need to give you, because we're setting up our next season without a question if one's going to come to fruition. So again, that's just another interesting take on how this is going to pan out for the rest of the season. But let's start off with Ronnie being a menace to society. Clearly, this man should not have been released after 3 years, as all y'all kept on pointing out. But he's only been in jail for 3 years. After 3 years, and Ronnie just randomly, for no reason, steals a car and then decides to visit Unique in the stolen car. Just what did you think about this opening between Ronnie and Unique, and just how much tension was involved in that early conversation?
Yeah, I like the analogy Unique makes later on in the episode, because I was thinking it pretty early. It's like, this dude is like a bull in a china shop. But I tell you, the first thing I thought about Ronnie and how he was driving and everything, which was shot beautifully, by the way, whether Grantham was truly driving or not. But the first thing I was thinking was, this makes me think twice about all these crazy people I be seeing driving on the highway, and I'm like, where are they on the rush to go? And how many times I drive my normal speed, 2 hands on the wheel. I really drive like very normal. But the fact when I be seeing people doing all sorts of this crazy things, I'm just like, where are they going? This makes me reevaluate everything, because I'd be damned if I blow a horn at somebody and then damn near Ronnie gets out. Got a problem where I'm going? No, sir.
I'm just shooting you. We ain't gonna handle a discussion. You get your big ass out the car if you want to.
But it was very important for them to have a conversation, because we had to reiterate what Ronnie's motive was and what Unique promise was. And as Unique said, I got you, Ronnie, but Ronnie said that ain't moving fast enough for me. So this is Ronnie in a measure of him getting all the answers he wants, him being as productive as he thinks he is, and he's going right to the source with everything. Every single thing he has a question about, he's going right to the source. He doesn't care the hierarchy, he doesn't care about anybody's prior relationships. He's like, I'm going to the source. So it only made sense that he went to Unique to let him know that things ain't adding up the way I think they are adding up. And I could be wrong, but I ain't about to sit here and even hold myself accountable. I'm holding you accountable. Things ain't how I want them to be. Fix them. Time is up. So it was a much needed opening to establish what's going on between the brothers.
So I'm gonna ask you and the audience this question: Why is Ronnie so impulsive about everything? It feels like he's in a rush for something, but there's nothing that has presented itself as an immediate threat, danger, or situation that he needs to rush into it. So what is causing him to feel like he only been out for what, a couple of weeks, and he feels Unique is moving too slow? I think we talked about on last review. Does this have to do with him being impatient or with him testing and being mad that his little brother is still running things?
I think there's a little bit of both in the episode. A little bit of both. I think I can't relate to this emotion of being impulsive
Not
in the
at
way he
all.
is. And I ain't even talk about well on the deep end like he is, but just that level of impatience that makes you impulsive. Like you could be impatient, but me being impatient, that's not sort of the cause and effect with me. So it's just I can't relate at all. But he did mention earlier how he was sort of disappointed that he handed it off to his brother, and then he just bent over backwards for Rock. He said, "You got your head so far in between her legs." So I think there's a measure of him dissatisfied with where things are, how things are running, and he's immediately trying to take ownership of it and spin the block with it. But again, just his response to it just isn't very, I don't know, I hate to say
Yes.
traditional, but it's unorthodox to say the least, I should say.
Ronnie is very dismissive of Rock's power.
Yeah,
That's what it comes across as to me. Because everything is, you let Rock do this. You let Rock do this. Unique didn't let Rock do anything.
yeah.
Rock was a force that he was not prepared to deal with. But Ronnie doesn't see her that way. And because he doesn't, within that 3 years, which I'm keep on bringing up, within only a 3-year time period, amazingly, she became this force that he can't predict and that he didn't see. Normally, when you have a threat that's building, if you're the man, you notice that threat a mile away. So she didn't start building when he went away. She had to start building way before then. And he wasn't paying it enough attention. Because what's the old saying? If you're the king and you're so high in your castle, you don't notice the people below you, and those become your biggest threats. That's the issue with here. He didn't see Rock as the threat that Rock was. Unique paid for the price for him not seeing Rock as the threat that he was. But again, that's just my quick thinking about that. But let's quickly go into Kanan and Famous, as Kanan in his blue prison cell in Mount Vernon or wherever they're at. I'm guessing New Jersey, because that's where black people moved when you did bad in New York. You moved to New Jersey. And he's making phone calls to Famous to make sure the business is still running. The only question I'm going to ask here is, was there any way humanly possible this was going to end up positive for Kanan or Famous?
No. And they're going to have to, I mean, and as the viewers, we're going to continue to see two very irresponsible kids trying to run an operation. So mistakes
We
will
ain't
be
gonna see
made.
that. We're gonna talk about this because we ain't gonna see that because my man got another one. You better stop playing. My man got another one, Joe. he clearly went to Khaled. Another one. Like, come on, man. Famous ain't in that drug game no more. Famous is out.
I'm just chilling until we get there. I'm just chilling. And
Next up is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and wherever they're at, they're still in New York. Somebody said in the comments one episode that they're still in New York. So, because they get mad when we say things that ain't true, because we should know everything.
But it's a chance that they're still new. That's why I say Mount Vernon. Like, that's the only place I can think of that would have houses. They clearly not in Brooklyn. I've been to Brooklyn, even in that time period. That Brooklyn didn't look like that. I don't know what. Again, I'm thinking Mount Vernon. That's all I can think of, because that seems like a place where that type of house would be at. And screw y'all, New Jersey is New York. That's like
you talking about Rock Nation Estates, right?
Yeah, Rock Nation Estates.
Yeah, they said, like, somebody said it before. They said it was someplace in New York that it was like that. I don't know New York like that, so don't get me trying to figure it out. Yeah. But present day, absolutely Jersey. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's clear. Yeah, no one lives in New York now.
Yeah.
So come on. But
yeah, this one of those houses that Envy probably trying to flip right now.
This is not one of them Caesar houses, is it? He ain't sell that joint to Rock. Said, "Yeah, I own this full out. You good?" Come to find out, 45 people own that house with Rock. They all about to move in. Oh, Juliana gonna come and say, "This is part of my house too." Oh, but again, next up, Marvin and Gerald. It's not much here to discuss, as much as just them two bonding and seeing the growth of Marvin as a character here, because that's the most important part here. Plus, also him playing the role of supportive father for Juke, like overly supportive father for Juke, even talking to Gerald about finding a pathway for him to interview Juke, and him very, very adamant, like, "Hey, I don't want to play this story as she's just a poor kid from a disenfranchised neighborhood and she struggled to make it." He's like, "Nah, none of that happened, but I still want you to tell her story here." Where do you think this is going to possibly go with Gerald this season? Because that's the most important part. They're showing him way too much, and Power does not do this for no reason. They brought up his profession, and they're showing him a lot. What could this possibly lead to? And does it involve possibly Juke going solo?
That's not the way I was thinking. First of all, to be clear, Gerald is also a single dad raising a daughter, so they find that bond, that bond with one another. So I think that's cool. So it's cool to see the more humane side of Marvin, because let's not forget, like a couple of episodes, my man was hitting the mission off of Grand Theft Auto. So it's good to see him very normalized in a sense. But as you mentioned, he does not play about his daughter. He can be as chill as he wants, but as soon as you say something kind of crazy about Juke, he So I do love that. Once again, Marvin is taking the role of not being the father, but being the best friend, the supportive. And he doesn't stand firm on it. "I'm her dad. I know what's best." Because that's a whole different era of things that I'm surprised that has never came about this character yet. But it's good that he's going about it the more, again, supportive best friend way. With him having a source with the newspaper, obviously this was him having an inside scoop of what happened with Dean. So that's cool. And I like this for a couple of reasons. I like this because we typically, and it hasn't really happened in Kanan much, but in other shows, it's typically like how did that character know that? And they do some random whatever and they find out. So instead of it being that coincidental, I just walked into a coffee shop and I heard Dean got killed thing, they actually made it make sense. Like, this hits the paper, your guy working the paper, he lets you know what's happening to the street. So this gives Marvin a different source of hearing what's happening on the streets. This also may be a sense of him getting some intel about what the feds are doing as well too. So this gives him that sort of just that path of being street smart, but also kind of business smart with resources because he got this guy. But as far as Gerald with the newspaper, I was not thinking the way you were thinking, which is cool because I actually kind of prefer that better here. I was hoping that Gerald wouldn't have to make a tough decision about the journalistic integrity of writing a story outside of choosing his best friend about something. Does Marvin get himself into something? Does Juke get herself into something? And or Rock is Rock a subject of interest? And Gerald may dig and reach for some information, but Marvin's like, "Hey brother, like, we don't got to talk about that." And we know how journalists are in terms of, and I'm not just a blanketed statement with journalists, but just let's just say for cinematic purposes, we know how journalists are, that they poke and poke for their story, the lowest lanes of the world. They poke and poke for their story.
My Asian girl from Snowfall.
Damn. Yes. Yes, her. I can't think of her name exactly. Poke and poke for a story, no matter what feathers it may ruffle. In this case, could be detrimental to a friendship. And let's not forget, like, Marvin ain't just saved Gerald, so it is going to be a sense of like,
him out of a crack house. All your journalistic integrity went away when I pulled you out of a crack house. I'm not allowed to pull you out of a crack house and you tell me you have integrity. No, you don't. Because I'm gonna give you a rock and I'm gonna end your integrity immediately.
Yeah.
I know your kryptonite, Superman, and it is a rock. It's just not a green rock. It's a white one.
and ain't my sister rock either. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah, that's just going to be
1,000%.
interesting to see exactly where that relationship goes. Because I think that's the fun part of this character is we've not seen a true character like Gerald in the Power universe, where he
Yeah.
could be a source for Marvin, he could be a source for Rock, he could help Juke out, or he could damn near burn everything down because he may be trying to get on a straight and narrow.
And the journalist from Snowfall, Irene. Yeah.
There we go. So Tweedledee and Tweedledum again harass Rock as we get to her business and all the windows and everything is bust out and they attempt to shake her down again. I don't know how much longer I can deal with this before eventually they have to find out who the hell Rock is and that this will never work for them. But here, not only do they try to shake her down for protection, they try to shake her down for code violations. I don't know if it's much to talk about here because Rock doesn't bring it up too much. All she keeps on saying is these stupid cops trying to shake me down, and it's just as bad as me being on the street, which we said last week. Like, Rock is going to eventually find out being legitimate is just as bad as when you were selling. There's literally no difference between the two. And now she got to deal with these cops for no reason. Other thing next up is Lulu at the bar, getting tired of hearing the same music, and offers to bring records, but that's not the big part. The big part here is we see the beginning of Lulu's sobriety as he's offered a drink and turns it down as it looks like Lulu is attempting to focus again and music is his love and passion here. What do you think about, and we're going to focus on everything with Lulu in this episode right here because that's what I want to do. Because I know no one want to focus on this scene at the bar. I do want to focus on the scene later on with his mom when he went to go pick up the records. What do you think about Lulu and how he's actually attempting to use this music to straighten his life out while it seems like so many things is against him from doing this, along with his own hatred being against him also for his sister?
Yeah. I was going to quickly say with Rock, I was going to mention like the cops are just trying to get on the payroll. We know how that is. That's just tax, as they like to call it. But with Lou, he's struggling, and we see them make the emphasis in terms of him taking the salsa over Jack. If music is going to be his vice, and that's going to be the one thing to motivate him, then so be it. My only question, I'm never trying to kick a man while they're down, but my only question is, as long as he encompasses all of the bad things that his sobriety has cost them, to fuel that into his motivation, because outside of him and music and trying to turn, not only trying to turn his bar around and then have something of his own, which to me proves a lot of the doubters wrong, proves Rock, who still isn't pro him, his mom, as we see, his dad's legacy. But ultimately, the other thing, and a more immediate thing, was him letting Juke down, which that uncle to niece relationship, which typically can go two very extreme ways, so we just say it's always something, I'll put it that way. And for him to knowingly let her down, damn near almost cost her career, and still getting a second chance to the point that she forgave him, Marvin forgave him, I would have thought that would have been just a little bit more of his motivation of understanding that he needs to put the bottle down because he did not want to disappoint. If anybody doesn't want to disappoint, he doesn't want to disappoint his niece, which then will be also his nephew because he tries to build that bond with Kanan as well too. But either way, whatever it may be, if this is going to be the battle of music versus Jack, we're going to see who prevails at the end. And I'm always going to root for the guy to get his life together. It will be a story. It will be a story that could lead to a very interesting conclusion to this character arc, shall I say.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, just because also in this episode, which is literally the next scene, when Marvin meets up with Rock, this is the first time I've heard Rock speak extremely negatively towards Lulu. She's always dealt with him doing it, but this is the first time she said, fuck Lulu. Like, I don't give a fuck what happens with him. Now, I don't necessarily know if the motivation is fully the music, or could the motivation be, I need to prove that I can do this and I can do it without her. I can do it without Rock's money. I could do it without needing Rock, because he's very adamant and multiple times in this episode, I don't want her around. Rock don't need to be here, because it feels like Rock is his trigger. And if she comes around, all of that I cannot drink possibly goes away, because she's gonna build that stress back up in him.
It's a little bit of both, and I'm sure folks listening to us can relate to that. We all have that family member that gets under our skin and can sometimes just be more detrimental than positive. It's family, you love them, but I think Lou not only has that sort of relationship with Rock, but also too, I think as he wants to try to prove that he doesn't need her.
Yeah.
Marvin's playing that role. I think if we didn't say it, or somebody said it last week in the comments, I can't remember, or maybe Kimi said it, that Marvin's playing that middleman of I'm trying to keep the family together. Like, that's baby brother. I'm always gonna have baby brother back. Come on, Rock, that's baby brother. You're supposed to have him. She's just like, fuck Lou. Let's not forget, like, Lou was not in the club early in this season saying fuck Rock. So they're just bumping heads until something ultimately brings them together. I don't think the liquor is going to be I don't think Rock appearance will be the trigger to make them go back to it. But I do think any means of the club not seceding will. I think it's going to just be just that. Because his sister's always going to be a sister one way or another. And whether she's there to witness his greatness, as he would put it, or not, I think he's going to continue to avoid the bottle as long as everything in the club going right. And can we just put some respect on the club real quick? That thing was hitting. I was like, shit, I'm about to pull up. That joint had a little vibe to it, little speakeasy vibe. He gave the snaps and everything with the open mic night, and we'll talk about Famous later. But he kind of put on the show, man. He hit his resources. Got the radio, got the venue.
He's trying to turn that joint into Natalie's off of New York Undercover. I know what Lulu trying to do here. That's his whole goal right there, Joe.
I'm mad at it, man.
Mary J. Blige gonna be up there performing. It's no telling. Come to the stage, Monet. Be like, oh shit. They had Monet on here singing. But what do you think about the scene between Lulu and his mom? Because that showed extreme trauma, which could actually be another trigger, as he's just there to collect records and she goes off. Basically telling him, nigga, why do you have a dream? Music got your dad nowhere. It's gonna lead you nowhere. And then she goes into who's going to support me. And this is the first time it's been brought up that Rock has completely cut her off, completely given her nothing. She said Marvin's out here doing whatever he wants to, and you out here fooling with music. Who's taking care of me? What do you think about this interaction? Because we saw it, I think it's season 1.
Yeah, season 1.
Rock interacting with her mom. And we saw that it was only about money and church. That's all mama cared about.
So let's keep it 100 real quick. So Joyce Thomas, and played by the wonderful Sharon Washington. It's not trauma here. You know why? Because none of us knew this was trauma if it was happening to us. As we reflect back into it, it's breeding trauma for sure. And it's definitely generational trauma, because these type of dynamics between family is so normal. This has nothing to do with Lou right here. This is the mom completely, and matter of fact, let's just call it what it is. If Rock cut her off, sure. But I bet you Rock cut her off yesterday and she's talking about it today. Or Marvin probably gave her a little something, but she's not going to admit that he did. And Lulu, she would never give credit that Lulu left her money there. There's a level of entitlement here with this mom that I feel has a moment of bitterness towards her husband, which is their dad, and she's projecting it back onto Lou. That's the trauma for sure, but he's unable to recognize that, because a lot of people can't recognize those type of things. And mom loves him for sure. Mom wants to be there. Probably mom wants to support him, but because the finances ain't coming in the way she wants, and all these other things that has nothing to do with him, the fact that the kids are probably supporting her, but maybe it's something that she can't get ahead of, and thus she's continue going to sink. I didn't see that, and honestly, if you really want to get into it, you got to commend Lou for being able to be the bigger person here. He got his records, basically told her he loved her, gave her the money, and rolled out. Didn't get combative, didn't stand up for himself in a way that she probably would have wanted him to. She got a lot off her chest that had nothing to do with Lou. That was all the things I am very confidently want to say that she wanted to say to her dad or her husband at the time for Lou pursuing that same path, but it's in their blood. So what can you do?
And
It's
that's, to
in their
me,
blood.
that's where the trauma comes from. Is because you're immediately shitting on something that you know he's passionate about. And if he was younger, I would say, yeah, it's something he can ignore. Lou's not a kid. I think he fully gets it. Like, for her to come off that way, yes, in the end, a lot of it had to do with money, but a lot of it had to do with you're going down the same path a loser went down. What makes you think you're going to be able to do any better? He didn't survive in this. What makes you think you can? That's what her speech came across. That's why Lou had to say music wasn't his issue. Music didn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, Lou had to let her know that. And that's because I think he recognized, like, this woman is tearing me down. She's basically trying to destroy my dreams before I start them again.
If he would have led that interaction with money, none of those words would have came out.
You think? I think it still would have. I think, and the only reason I think it still would have is because, nothing is worse than a woman who has not dealt with her past issues with whomever she had children with, and one of them children act like that man.
A lot of kids are abused because of this.
Yes,
a lot of kids.
And that, to me, this was a form of abusing Lou. This is verbal abuse is the same way.
Yeah, and again,
just wearing him out because of that.
And again, I look at it in the sense of like, yeah, of course we can look at this in the 2000s or 2023 or 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at this now and say like, well, this is wrong. But back then, this was so normal that you just thought that you just had the tough mom that was just made of steel, or this was whatever it may have been. Instead of realizing like this is just another continuation of generational trauma. Is that instead of mom working through what her troubles, her emotions on, she's projecting it on the kids here. Lou don't deserve this. Lou is not his dad. It's in his blood, but he's not his dad. And you can say it all you want. I mean, I don't know about you, but like there's a high level of alcoholism in my family, and there's a lot in Black families as well too. There's a high level of a bunch of trash things in people's family. But just because your great grandfather, whoever it may be, across the board did that, doesn't mean that you got to be that person. But let society tell you.
Is something that addiction is something that carries over from generation to generation.
Oh, because it's genetic. Part of the
reason.
Some of that is genetic, but this ain't that.
That's the reason.
She's not talking about his alcoholism. She's talking about his pursuit for music, and she's trying to downplay his dream.
I think that's why he was very clear. The music didn't bring him down.
I don't think he was talking about the music. I think he was talking about her. That's what I saw. I think he took a slick shot at her of just like.
I think all of them know that their dad was an alcoholic and on drugs. So yeah, that had nothing to do with music. Music ain't got nothing to do with that. And that's part of the reason why Lou cut back. Is because when you start seeing that man and that man who you don't like or who you had issues with in yourself, you cut that shit off immediately. Yeah. But let's go back a little bit of Marvin meeting with Rock at her place. And this is where he tells Rock that Dean got killed. And this is where Rock says, fuck Lou, and who is going to look out for me? This is, again, showing that Rock just don't care no more. Rock is very much not only out the game, but it almost feels like she is close to being fed up with anybody that ain't Kanan. If she can't hide a gun on you two and put you in her house, I don't think Rock cares about anybody else right now. I think it shows a level of hurt here. I know it's not much to talk about in this scene, but the big part was her saying, who's looking after me? You want me to look after him. You want me to support him. But who's supporting and looking after me?
It's a weird comment for Rock. Rock wants to be in control. Hell, this sounds damn near like her mother, right?
Or is she reverting back now that she's not in the game to Marvin's little sister?
No.
Because keep in mind, Marvin's the oldest.
No, it's
not in the sense of her controlling issue. That's always going to be Rock. I think even when she was his little sister, she was controlling. But even to say who's supporting me, like meaning she knows that she can't lean on anybody. So if you telling me I need to support somebody, you niggas ain't came out here to see my business. You niggas ain't helping me do nothing. So don't
It's
come to me and tell me I need to support somebody. Like it's you're
just
conveying the wrong message to me that I
it's
need to
just
support Lou, and he ain't supporting me.
yeah, I mean, there's I guess there's some truth to that, but it is still kind of bitter. Again, it sounds like a mother here. Talk about what about me? What about me? And Marvin's just trying to bring the family together. There was never a sense of not wanting to support Rob, but when you want support, we'll be there. So yeah, but also we got to also mention too that like she also very much dog Lou here, saying like there ain't no fronting him. Once you give him money, that's gone. And
Hey,
also with the same notion of fuck Lou. But she also came at Marvin on the sense of like, what resources do you have? As if like Marvin can't even do anything without Rob. Because he can't, that's not, and it's something you brought up last week, or maybe it was Kimi, but like you have to remember the idea of saying he lost Dean, which means that his money ain't gonna pan out the way that it used to. So he doesn't look like he's worried. He just like, but that extra money has to get, the little thing he's breaking me off there. I'm not gonna have that no more. He's talking about that. Then he was talking about, having a plug. And Rock is like very much in the sense of like, I need to know everything that's happening, everything. Even though I'm not in it, I need to know everything. Like what little thing on the side, or what little source you
she
got?
thought at first he was coming to her asking her for the plug, and she's like, "Oh, I'm out. Don't ask me, nigga. I'm out."
Yeah,
I'm out. I don't want to hear nothing about it. And then the moment he said, "I'm all right," what the fuck you mean you all right? Nigga, who you buying from? Like it's still that Rock is still gonna look out for Marvin no matter what. Mm-hmm. So she's gonna question like, who are you in business with? Because in the end, when Marvin wanted to go back into business, first person he went to was Rock and said, "Hey, are you okay with me doing this?" Yeah. And her saying, "Oh, I don't care. Do what you got to do." And now that Dean is down and all this other stuff, she like, "Hold up, now who you going to now? Like, is it going to be something? This is selfish to me. Is it going to be something that could carry over to me, nigga? Yeah. Like, make sure it ain't something that's gonna come over to me because I don't want no problems."
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
And let's quickly go because we had the 40-minute mark. And the way y'all acted last week, we are not giving y'all 2 hours of nothing ever again. Oh man. But next up, Kanan finds out about Famous being caught up, and for some odd reason, he blames Famous for everything. Because if Kanan can't control it, boys, he like Rock. If he can't control it, it's everyone else's fault but his own. I don't think there's anything else to talk about that. That's just
I know. I just want to make sure we didn't forget a scene with Ronnie and Unique. But I will say that I guess the one thing. Okay, so the only thing I was gonna say about with Famous and Kanan, and maybe I'll just ask it to the audience to keep it short here, is Famous wrong at all for detailing Kanan's lack of support here? Kanan is supposed to be his brother. He's supposed to be there and check on him. And Kanan, the first thing he wanted to know was about the money. He wanted to know, what did you say, and what was the money? He's treating him like a business partner.
This is when he finds out that Kanan, but we could talk about that now too. This is when he finds out he got arrested. This is before they had that conversation. But
I mean,
so we might as well focus on it now because we can run through this whole thing of Kanan and Famous because that's
the only other thing too is just like Kanan being surprised about Famous being locked up and not being able to be there, and all the street dudes are like, what happened? I mean, it is what it is, man. You knew, first of all, he already knew what time it was with Famous. He always was going to be a liability, but it was going to be a measure of how he's going to act under pressure, which is, I guess, a part of the question. And did Famous also handle his situation correctly? Well, we didn't get too much of the details about what was said, what was not said, but he did get out. And anytime he get out, it's a little suspicious. But he got out, and he was the one that did what they're accusing of. So to me, I think Famous handled this right. We wrap our hands with it. Maybe it creates a little bit of a rift between the two of them because he may still be suspicious of this. But at the end of the day, you gotta kind of say the liability crackhead of a person Famous did hold it down right here.
It ain't even about him being a crackhead. Famous from the jump said, "I want nothing to do with selling drugs." The point that you got your boy involved in selling drugs, when he said, "I want no parts of selling drugs," everything bad that happens is your responsibility. Like, you knew Famous couldn't control that. So when Famous got caught up, it went in a situation where he had a place to run. The cops surrounded him. If that was Kanan instead of him, he'd have got caught up in the same exact way. There's no way you're running from that. I know Jump Out Boys. I'd have been through it enough. If when they got you like that, your best bet is to get down on your knees and give up. Anything else can lead to a bad situation. But Famous held it down when he was being questioned, because Famous knew how to answer those questions of, I wasn't here. You can't tell me you saw me in this neighborhood at this time. This area is too small. Of course you're going to see me in this. Like, he answered those questions right. Kanan being suspicious of him a little bit is off, and him blaming Famous for anything, I think, is more of a reflection that he's mad that he's not there to do everything because of his situation. So at that point, he's going to blame Famous for it, because maybe he thinks Famous is the one who put the gun in his bag. Like, there's no telling where Kanan's mind is going at with all of that stuff.
Yep.
But next up is Ronnie and Unique, as this is where Unique shows Ronnie the new spot where they'll be moving weight. This is where he informs Ronnie of it and then tells Ronnie, maybe you can run this here. This will be yours. And this is where Ronnie spits in Unique's face and says, fuck you, fuck this spot, ain't no money here. And we see what looks like the end of their relationship as they step outside of the carry out. As this is the first time where Unique has had to boss up on Ronnie, as he said, if anyone else spoke to me that way, they would get handled. But I'm going to let you slide off of it because of who you are. What did you think about, again, we already know what's going to happen, but what did you think about this here? Did you think this was going to be the final breaking point between them two?
No, they're brothers, and we need to see them be tested. That's what I was most interested in. We see Ronnie overstep. We see Ronnie be intrusive. We see Ronnie do all this other stuff, and Unique kind of take the back seat and just chill. It at a point, and we see a little bit later on with Juliana, which is probably one of my favorite scenes in this episode, that we need to see the brotherhood tested. We need to see them, and listen, even at the end, but I'll wait till we get there fully to talk about it. Brothers get in fights all the time, man. They throw words across the table all the time. So to me, I'm just like, oh, here's the first little official little scuffle that the two have. So let's see how they bounce back, or let's see what pulls them together. But yeah, and also I think if you just look at Ronnie himself, Ronnie's not looking for no course correct here. He don't want the carry out special either. He wants some on the block, on the corner. He wanted to see it like the old school ways. So this new,
we got to do.
Out of sight, out of mind, silent partner. Ronnie wasn't down with this at all.
He has been gone for, I know people in the comments was saying 3 years is a long period. I don't know who the hell 3 years is a long period of time to. He has not been gone long enough to be this lost on the way the streets operate. And I know someone said, well, this was 89 to 92. You must have only been born in 90 if you think that was a big difference between the two. I was born in I was alive in 89. Doing knucklehead shit. I was doing knucklehead shit in 92. Nothing changed. It's not that big of a gap of time for Ronnie to seem as lost as he is.
Yeah.
That makes no sense when he introduced you to a hustle that he said no one would be the wiser that we're doing anything. And the first thing I thought of is Ronnie is a corner boy. And he's thinking like a corner boy. He's thinking product in hand, move the weight the way old people move the shit. It's literally the opposite of what we've seen Rock do when she built her system up, because she understood the old way of doing business doesn't work anymore. And Ronnie is completely lost within 3 years of not understanding that. Like, those Reagan laws didn't exist before he went to jail. So that's why I'm confused, because right now we're in 91, 92-ish, we're in like George Bush, Clinton area. So the law's already been in existence. I'm just confused on why Ronnie is just the average corner boy. Maybe he was never maybe he was the man you feared, but not necessarily the businessman that he assumed he was.
Yeah,
because it couldn't be the way he's moving.
I guess I am more interested in learn more about Ronnie's mental motivation later on this season, because I'm definitely thrown off, and I'm not having that argument about 3 years again. I've already said it once about a president is in office for 4 years. A president does not monumentally change an entire nation in 4 years, which is why they give him 2 terms, where you could talk about Obama and everything he had to fix with Bush, and then so on. And even to go back and say, well, after Obama to Trump, like, a lot does not change in 3 years. They 4-year terms, and they typically need 2 or 3 years to get policies in place just for those policies to make effect. So, like, there's nothing that's going to change that much in 3 years. That's why I kept buying into the fact of, like, if they're going to comment on his attire in 3 years, some of us still own the same clothes from 3 years ago. A lot of us own the same clothes.
I don't know who in '89 was dressing like Ronnie. You got to explain that to me, because Ronnie is dressed like the early '80s. He got the Cool It Now jacket and button-up shirt. I know that button-up shirt from the New Edition videos. That shit didn't exist in '89. Yeah. By the time we got to '89, everybody, Jordans was out, Cross Colors was out. Like, the way Unique was dressing, MCM, Dapper Dan, all that shit existed before he went to jail.
And I don't want to hear he was toned down or anything, because if he was the top dog, he would have been dressing like it, because they all did. Every city, every top player dressed like the top dog. And if Unique is the top dog because he left it to him, then do the math. Matter of fact, if Ronnie was the top dog, right, wouldn't Little Brother follow suit?
Yes.
Every single time. Go to BMF. Didn't Little Brother follow suit? He said, if that's how Big Brother dressing, I'm dressing like Big Brother. That's just what it is. So at what point did the Unique in 3 years say, man, I'm gonna dress like this, and my brother has gone for 3 years I'm
gonna dress like everybody else, and my brother's gonna dress like Poindexter. No, that doesn't exist. And there was no such thing as a non-flashy drug dealer in the 80s and 90s. I don't know where y'all get that logic. That does not exist.
Never.
Everybody was flashy.
Never.
That's the point of being. Yeah. You needed people to know who you was.
Even the Mendez brothers, and they were,
nigga. You couldn't say like John Gotti. You couldn't say anybody else in the Menendez brothers.
Just saying. You know what they're.
Next up, we have Pebbles as she's torturing the girls dancing. Nothing to talk about here.
Getting them in that 360 deal right now.
Hey, she out that Joe working them the way Puff was working them on making a band, Joe.
Yep.
Tapper.
Go get those cheesecakes after this.
Oh man,
no bull.
And I'm like, okay, this at least the song was catchy and it was very 90s like, but
yeah,
like I don't remember TLC dancing. I don't think it's except for the little
they did
the little thing when they was doing like this in the Creep video, but like
they had dances. They had dances, all of them joints. Not any question. Big TLC fan, all of them. Also, real quick, I just want to go back to really quick with the Ronnie Unique thing. We're talking about that attire so much. Let's also forget that Ronnie's also is not so that this is the source of where all the money's coming from. He wants to know where the heroin supplier is, which happens to be the Vietnamese dude Quan that Ronnie Unique made the deal with. So he's trying to get to the source. So that means we're still due for one big other scene of Ronnie versus Quan in terms of establishing he's the new person. And would Ronnie be able to follow suit? Because the Vietnamese, beyond the racism in the room there, they're very mad at it that I'm the guy. Here's what it's going to be. Unique knew how to work the deal. Ronnie may not be so lenient. As we see, he was not fond of, the folks that ran the carry. I forget what their ethnicity was or nationality was, so I'm not going to say anything. But he wasn't, as he said, Asian. Fond of the yellow folks. Asian, yes. He wasn't fond of the yellow folks. So will he be able to go to Quan, who's Vietnamese, and work a deal? No. The answer is no. The answer is no.
No. Ronnie has shown you nothing of tact. Yeah. He literally went to Pop and Snap with an attitude and said, basically, you will give me the fucking money. You're not going to be able to go to other people that you don't know that way. I think that's the difference here. He is so accustomed to thinking force is the way you make things move. And he does not have any tact. And because you don't have the tact, you don't survive.
Yep.
You're just muscle. You muscle who got a chance. Your chin on Godfather Harlem. Your muscle who got, or Joe Banana. Your muscle who got a chance to be the boss. But if you don't know how to make the key moves to keep that position, you're gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
And that, again, it's gonna be interesting to see where that goes from there. But again, let's get past it. Again, Pebble with the girls, none here to talk about because it just seems like this is a budding situation of Juke standing up for Ashley. We don't know where this is going to lead here, but we do see later on that it seems like Juke has a crush on her, and it seems like Ashley has a crush on Juke. And Marvin surprised the hell out of me as he was cheering this on after the
No
stuff
surprise.
he said to Juke in season 1 about her even being gay and choking her up and everything. Like
Yeah,
this is
how is it a surprise as we haven't seen the evident growth? And again, he's been very.
I'm
Let's
not
not forget
saying-
he was just with Nicole dad, so like he's
I'm
definitely
not saying
turned
you're
that
not
page.
being okay with what your child doing, but to be out there like, oh look at my baby getting that bitch, like that is a completely different. That's a next level type of thing of growth.
I'm so unsurprised of this. Is there's a mention as he has again taken a step back from being a dad and just being the best friend, being a supporting role, her biggest cheerleader. That this absolutely makes sense that he carried out the way it is. To the point that I know that they had so much fun in filming this that I am 1,000% sure that London absolutely improv this scene with the whole you say she's just a friend line that was plugged in there too. So it just makes sense, and it was fun. And again, it's I'm always going to be pro Juke getting W's because she's gotten so many L's earlier in the season that I'm happy to see her having these good moments, you know.
But we'll talk about it later. She takes an L later on in the episode with the same situation. Next up, we get the social worker visits Rock. Again, it's not much to talk about here. We understand the mess that Kane is in. We understand that Rock set this up for a reason. And the one time he needs to be where he needs to
Questionable.
be, he's still out in the streets, not caring.
Questionable. Does she set this up understanding how this was going to play out is questionable. You know why I say that? Because she asked the social worker, when was the next time you're going to come back? That is not how that works.
No. I mean, she played it out knowing that or thinking this would keep Kanan in the house.
Yeah, and
she made a mistake of thinking Kanan cared. Like that's the mistake.
She made a mistake that he cared, that he was going to abide by the rules, that this was somehow, some way going to become the fixing factor to keeping him in the house. And again, her thinking she can just control this situation, even asking and as she mentioned, say, listen, if you don't come, you know, social workers gonna have to do what they're gonna have to do, which would obviously have him being what they call it, displaced out of the house.
No, in Boy Village. He's going to juvie.
Yeah, he will.
He will be removed from the household.
Yeah,
and they would have to do a family court, which will lead to them locking him up.
And again, her asking, when can I expect you to the social worker? Like, that's not how that works. It's random pop-ups, Rock. So her not understanding fully, only
black people in the 80s did. They had to say something. In the 90s either. They did not know.
The point of the matter is she got herself in a situation that she thought she could control, and she can't. She's definitely neck deep in this right now, and it's not a game that the social workers will take him, and she did lie about the cause and effect of this. If you don't come, what she said, if you don't come, I forgot what she said. Somewhere in my notes.
She laid down the law and saying
she did not tell him the truth.
No. But it was more of, if you think I'm playing with you, try me. That was the gist of her last conversation. It wasn't just the consequences of what was going to happen to him. It's the one thing she has yet to do that I'm waiting for Rock to do, is that Kanan being the way he is, you got to completely put your foot down.
Right.
And say, if you keep on playing me like you think I won't hurt you, you have another thing coming.
Again, she mentions, like, listen, like, if you don't want to be in the boys' home, you got to be here, Kanan. So that's her threat to him saying you need to be here. But again, at the same time too, the biggest thing is that if you don't come, then you will be removed from the house. Which Rock, you lose him, he goes where it consequently goes, and so on. But at the end of the day, she thought she could control this by controlling all of the variables involved and have Kanan back in the house, and then she could control him, which is not true because, again, the social workers will do what they have to do, and they're not going to give her a heads up. This ain't going to be a situation where she can buy herself out of or anything.
It's putting her foot down. In all honesty, the factor that she can't control is Kanan. And you can't
control she can't control the social. She also can't control the social worker though. You
don't have to worry about the social. If you get Kanan in check, the social worker is not going to be an issue. But you have to put, as any parent would say, you have to put the fear of God in your child. Because I need you to understand, the worst thing that can happen to you isn't them taking you away. It's you having to deal with me. And if you keep on acting like you're this big man, I'm going to have to take you down so you understand who's the boss. And that's done that yet. That's what she has to do.
And again, it's all a bluff. It's all a bluff because he's still in a serious situation that she can say all that she wants and strike this fear in his art and so on. But at the end of the day, she still has to make these social workers meetings where even if she messes up, that could also have him removed. So there is a law of the land within Rock Nation Estates, but there's also a law that she has to abide by. So I think that's the thing. To me, it comes off as if Rock is saying, I got this tactic that's going to keep Kanan in the house. It didn't work the first time. I'm going to put my foot down the second time, as she kind of enforces later on. And he's still very nonchalant about it because he's a teen. Of course he should be. He doesn't understand the severity of this. But at the end of the day, fuck all that. Y'all got to be on the same page because that social worker is still going to pop up at some point. So if he's not there, Rock, your whole mission backfired and you lost your son.
That's why you got to... I'm trying not to say abuse him because I know what the kids think nowadays. But this is where you just have to let the child know there are consequences and repercussions that I don't think you're prepared to deal with.
I don't even think she's aware of him either. That's the wild thing.
No. I'm not even talking about the part of the social worker. I think she knows what she has to do. I don't think she wants to do it, but at this point, you don't went this far with it. Fuck it. Like, you're gonna have to strike fear in him. Because I need you to understand the things I'm willing to do to you, you're probably not willing to do to me, as I've said countless times to teenagers. 3 of them. Yeah. Like the things I'm willing to do to you, you're not willing to do to me. So if you test me, you'll find out what those things are. And that's what we need to see from Rock here. Because until then, Kanan's not going to pay her no damn attention. And again, speaking of Kanan paying her no attention, as we see him block, serving all his couriers as he's trying to make up for the business that Famous lost. And this is where we get Freaky Ronnie popping out of nowhere to approach Kanan about, is he working for Unique? Where are you getting these little packages from? But here's I think the first time that it came into fruition exactly what Ronnie was thinking when he asks Kanan, well, where you get the heroin from? And Kanan's like, hey, who's moving heroin? What are you talking about here? Mm-hmm. So again, we've seen just how impulsive Ronnie is. Now to the extent that he is literally just out here asking anybody who he thinks can sell for Unique where the heroin is.
Yeah.
We understand what happens later on in this episode between him and Juliana, where we see him attempting to now get a connect and her being very adamant that as long as Unique's in the picture, nothing's going to happen between us. So I'm going to put these two scenes together for Ronnie because we get the Ronnie searching to find out where's Unique other money coming from. And then we get him attempting to partner with someone who he knows has an issue with his brother. What overall mindset do you think these two scenes put Ronnie into, which leads to the confrontation between him and Unique?
I mean, like I said, they go into the source for anything that he thinks is the lead. He's going right to it. So him going to Kanan looking for heroin at front, it's interesting that Kanan kind of bossed up against him because I definitely was not expecting that scene to go the way it is. So I definitely need a Ronnie and Famous scene like ASAP just to see how that plays out. because I want to see Ronnie Myers out here putting fear in these kids' hearts. But the Ronnie and Juliana scene is interesting. I know a lot of people kind of I'm intrigued about their dynamic from the last time, and I even saw some folks talking about they think they're gonna hook up. Y'all want
it
everybody
looked
to have
like it.
sex, and then every time y'all
It looked
want
like
everybody, and then every time somebody have sex, then y'all wish they didn't have sex. So like, what
Yeah.
is it that y'all want? But the interesting thing is, one, the way how Ronnie rolled up on her was just hilarious because she hits the gate and he just right there cut the corner. He is truly Michael Myers. Like my man
Yeah.
is out here moving. But as we know, Juliana in Unique history, and she does not fuck with Unique, with the bad history. And it ain't racism. It's just, I think it's just the level of like abuse that she was dealing with that he didn't like. He didn't like how his presence towards herself. It's not racism, because I say that to say, because the Asian folks said it earlier that 1 is bad, 2 is too many. So they made it very clear that we're not dealing with black folks. Juliana's approach isn't the same here. It's just that I just don't fuck with Unique. Then she said something that I watched this scene a couple of times just to really make sure I understood. And she says, listen, like there's nothing for us to talk about here. And then, as Ronnie continues to try to force some engagement and figure out if there's a way for them to do business, she talked about how she assumed one day that her husband would always be there. And says one day he was gone and he wasn't my husband no more. And I was like, what does that mean? I just kept listening to it. And then she says, but that's up to you. I realized that she was basically saying, and it's such a very wild and backwards way of her saying, like, if you want to work with me, then you need to get rid of Unique. And I do not think she said that in a very casual way. And as he said, my brother,
Ronnie saying it though. Yeah.
No. Ronnie has never mentioned that he was going to kill his brother.
No.
He's
at the beginning, she brought up Unique. Ronnie said Unique will always be around.
No doubt. And he said it at the end
3 times to her.
Exactly.
And then that's when she said, I thought my husband would always be around.
Right.
Because then she let him know, like, you may say that now, and that's maybe the way you think, but I'm gonna let you know, I thought that at one point in time.
No, I get that.
I get that. No longer the case. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
and as he mentions that in the
way Ronnie was responding to it. That's what I was
saying. Right, because he mentioned it in the beginning, but also at the end was very important that he said my brother ain't going nowhere. So what I take from all of this is that was Juliana's very, very manipulative way of suggesting that if you get rid of Unique, then maybe we can do business. What's interesting about this is that this again kind of taps into that brother dynamic of saying my brother off the table is never a question, because Ronnie has been so hell-bent in getting to the source and figuring out who to plug and getting to the money that nothing has stopped him. And everybody, including Dean, who a lot of folks revered, and he didn't. He had to be a wild and special person to do so, as everybody said. He went right to him and got Dean out of there just because Dean was talking. So for me, it's interesting because at this moment, it just seems like a suggestion that Juliana makes that Ronnie brushes to the side and said, that's not the route we're going to take. But at what point did Ronnie actually consider this? And what point did this actually become a measure of motivation, a measure of actual consideration that he takes him off the table so he can have this plug?
Never. Not one time.
Because
he never thought it.
It's just interesting though. But I guess, and if that's the case, because I think so too. And obviously, folks, you can let us know in the comments if you think that Ronnie ever considered killing his brother at this point in the episode. Let us know. I didn't think so either. But man, if it ain't one of those type of impulsive reactions at the end that landed him into what I would never truly call a blessing, but a blessing in disguise, that he now opens up an opportunity that he could revisit back here, which we know that Ronnie is immediately going to go back to Juliana. And I don't know if he's going to admit, but he's definitely going to acknowledge that her brother is gone.
Or I think we'll talk about it when we get to it, because I think it's another element there that we haven't discussed. with what he did, and a consequence that we may not see coming that I think could possibly be something that happens. But next up is Howard, as he is told about the task force not believing the story of Crown Camacho at all, and that they are still looking at everybody. There's not much to talk about here because we've talked about it in the last episode that eventually all of this stuff will come out, including Rock owning the record label would come out, and it will make them question the way that they are saying that Crown did everything. So to me, it's nothing much to talk about there except for just know it's out there and it's something that's going to happen. Quickly run through a lot of this stuff. Next up is when Famous actually gets out, and this is where Kanan hammers him on how he got out, why he got out, and this is where we see a little rift between the two. But this is a rift that's been building this entire season between them two over this business and over Kanan's need to be independent at the expense of Famous safety and comfort, because that's what it is mainly at this point. Next up, we get Lulu as he visits Mo Craze to advertise about the open mic night. Now, I'm asking this question because maybe I'm lost. What favor did Mo owe Lulu? Because he clearly owed him a favor.
I actually forgot about that.
It had to be something. Yeah, it had to be something from the, I'm guessing, early season 1.
Something with Crown, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Was it money due from Crown or something?
I'm not sure.
Listen, we're good. Folks, what was the favor here? Help us out in the comments. I totally forgot to look this up. But yeah, when he said it, I was like, oh, let me remember to look that up. But yeah, it's got to either be something with Crown, it's got to be something with a hit record with Zisa, or even the other chick. Could have been something like that, or it could just been some money. But I don't know. Y'all let us know in the comments what it is, what the favor was.
Next up is Dean's funeral, and this is where we get a confrontation again between Rock and Unique. This is where Unique tells Rock that he believes Ronnie killed Dean, and this is where Rock tells Unique, you do know someone's going to have to answer for that. All I'm asking you is this: by them saying it that way, it literally makes it sound like Dean has somebody above him that's going to become a threat when he finds out Dean is not alive anymore.
Also, look how many packages of money that Dean's mom was getting. It wasn't just Rock.
Yeah.
So it's I'm always
really plays like there is a big fish over Dean that we just didn't know much about, but that clearly is going to come to fruition. Because other than that, Rock would not say someone's going to have to answer for that. Yeah. Because you got to answer to somebody. So it's going to be interesting to see who's that person that Ronnie may, perhaps once they find out he did it, he may have to answer to for killing Dean. Next up is just Ronnie as he goes back to Unique's house, causing marital problems in his home. Unique had a happy home, and then Ronnie goes out there and tells his girl maybe he out there fucking Rock.
Out of nowhere, while he's feeding the fish.
At this point, I just didn't like Ronnie no more. I lost all life for Ronnie right here. Because she ain't got a dry snitch on her brother. Out of everything, you hold that secret to the core. That's the one you don't tell. Yeah, he's like, wild. Nah, I'm mad. I'm gonna blow up his whole spot because I'm mad. This is wild. I understand, brothers. I have 10 of them. I understand this type of stuff can happen, but you would just hope you would hold that confidence in after you only found out after spying on me. It ain't like I told you I was smashing Rock, nigga. You found out because you was following me, and then you go tell my girl.
Yeah, and shout out to the composer here with this urban style of a horror theme here. Like they are now y'all just going crazy now.
The cinematography on this shot is fucking ridiculous, Joe.
Yeah.
It's the second most ridiculous shot in this episode, but we about to get to it because we about to rush through this rest of this stuff here.
They're playing into this Ronnie Myers stuff way more than I ever thought they was.
Yeah. Next up is we already talked about it, and it's Rock and Kanan about the social worker, and it's again where she lays down the law to Kanan, like you will be here next time. That's not going to be a question about anything you want to do. We already talked about the following scene, which is Juke and Ashley as she's teaching her to practice to avoid Pebbles beating her with a wooden spoon. because she
Yeah.
can't sing and dance at the same time. She's like Jennifer Lopez, but black.
Ain't Ashley.
Oh,
Her,
no, what's going on?
her friend name, first of all, because I gotta bring attention to it. It's Aisha, and the way how it's spelled is very ghetto. Very, very ghetto.
Is that why I thought it was Ashley? Because I said,
Yeah.
nah. I thought it was a ghetto way of spelling Ashley.
Yeah,
I said, because there's no way that's Aisha.
It's Aisha.
I know
for
Aisha.
Sure. The only thing to really make of it is that Juke does find a bit of peace here with her, opening up about Nicole or bringing up Nicole, but don't truly dive into what happened with Nicole. Avoided the absolute truth here, but did say it didn't work out. So not mentor dying. And so on. But also just shout out to Liv Simone, who plays Aisha. She's a proud graduate of Howard University out of the DMV. So, and also has a theater background. So it's good to see them continue to pull from that community of folks.
And they're gonna make sure they get real singers for this girl group. That's why I'm just hoping this girl group goes farther than 3LW. You put a lot of work into them, man. We need to see more of them. Next up is the blow up between Unique and this girl, and my guy, my man, Unique, goes out like the G that I always knew he would when he said, "Don't you live comfortably? Don't you got everything you ever wanted? And you mad over a little pussy?" Like it was a perfect scene to me. It was a perfect response. Like all of this I provide for you. All of this. And you mad because I'm fucking somebody else? They ain't got what you got. Be grateful. Bitch, be grateful. Don't be sorry.
Hey, listen,
be proud of what you got.
I'm not gonna promote violence here, but God knows I wanted that soundboard sound slap inserted here so bad. You out here arguing about some pussy? We're like, oh snap. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh, they got to give us 80s television here, please. And yeah, they didn't.
Hey. Next up is my favorite character of this season, Wheelchair Man, as he's being questioned of the task force about Crown Camacho. This is partly because it's been told to Rock and to Howard, technically. The reason why they're still questioning everything about Crown is because no one's saying they saw him do anything.
I hate to say
so they bring in Wheelchair Man. And when they bring in Wheelchair Man, as he attempts to vouch for Crown being this big drug dealer, he makes the mistake of calling Miss Raquel Thomas Rock.
Did he?
He clearly made that mistake. He did not mean. You saw his look on his face when he said, "Nah,
because the
got to do with Rock."
Man, listen.
I think it's because he don't know her real name. He don't know Raquel. He only knows Rock. So when they said it, he said, "What the project's got to do with Rock?" In the way he thought he was playing her.
The cops called to Raquel, and he called to Rock. So he know, but like, hold on. We're not talking about James St. Patrick and then calling him Ghost. Rock is short for Raquel. I'm not understanding why the cops reacted in a way as if this nickname isn't adequate. And Rock name ain't any shit's that heavy that the cops know.
No, it's because she has a nickname.
That's trash. It's trash.
Oh, it's extremely racist. It's extremely racist.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Mr. Preston Tanner.
Oh yeah.
Press. Oh, look him up. His name Press. Call him up. Like, it doesn't make sense.
No.
This was a reach to
me. Back in the 90s, you can have a nickname. Like if you look at any criminal board, and I'm being serious here, if you look at any criminal board from any real crime, if you ever look at it, when they got a nickname, they think they got something. They was like, oh, well, if you known as this, let's look into Rock instead of Raquel and see what happens.
So trash. I hate it.
This is not A1 police work. The feds that didn't care. It's like,
hated this. God,
they already wanted her, and the moment she had a nickname, that was it. Wait a minute, you said Rock too casually. Is that her name? Because he said it. He said, wait a minute, is that what they call her? Is that her name in the streets?
And I would have been like, yeah, what's the problem? Nobody out here saying Raquel all day. Like, the fuck?
You know the problem was? Wheelchair Man froze. He said, nigga, you supposed to follow through. Like, no, that's right.
I think I would have froze too, just because of like, are you making this a big deal?
Surprised?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, I'm not understanding here.
No.
But
You
okay.
get pinched back in the 90s. You say full names, nigga. No nicknames.
And this,
No
yeah,
nickname.
it's weird. Definitely weird.
Next up is nothing to talk about. Is this Lou being happy that the club is open? This is another time where we see Lou just ecstatic about the turnout, everything. This is
Mhm.
again where he turns down a drink. White lady whose name I don't know. This is where she tells Lou she's proud of him for turning down the drink. Like this is just a wholesome moment for Lou at the bar as he again asks for seltzer water, even though at this point I would have at least one drink, but I'm me. But I'm not Lulu. Next up is the feds visit Rock for questioning as Rock is getting amazingly after all the bullshit she gave Marvin, she is getting dressed and prepared to go to the club to support Lulu. Boy, this family. But here's where the feds
It makes
come at
perfect
her
sense too.
doorstep, right
Yeah.
as she's looking in the mirror, and clearly because no one in these neighborhoods can hear anybody approaching their door. Clearly, I can. You just can't. You're that close to the damn door, but you can't hear nobody that's right there beside your door. As they bring her in and tell her questioning now would be best, and this is where Rock says, "Let me get my lawyer." So I'm gonna run through all of this with Rock here, so we can get past of Rock here.
Yeah.
Next up is the questioning of Rock, and as we saw during the questioning of Rock, they literally had absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
The only connection they have is the record business. And for Rock to say constantly, I saw opportunity, I invested more money. I did it for my family. This is what my brother wanted to do. It's not that she was snitching on Lou. It literally showed they had nothing on her at all. That they're just fishing for more information. So I'm gonna ask you this. This is the first time we saw a task force so far in Power Be Weak. Because this task force literally has come up with absolutely nothing in 5 episodes.
Mhm.
No matter how many people that they've interviewed so far. Do you think that this will turn out to be a big case about nothing as it pertains to the Thomas family? And do you think it's going to flip to Howard and that's who's going to end up getting caught up? I know I'm foreshadowing here.
I haven't even thought about the Howard thing, but I do think what's interesting is that first of all, the business isn't lucrative. We need to remember that Crown was in the hole, so
They know money.
her investing into it is a very normal thing. It's not like there was some really shifty business of something. This is a multi-million-dollar business and contracts are being shifted and whatnot. Like, no, it was a very poor business in the hole. Crown couldn't even sustain it, and so on. So her investment, and her reason and the lawyer reason just comes off very normal to me. But yeah, I do think they're going to have to take Rock off the board and go back to scratch, and I think they will have to go back to Howard, and I think Howard may make some mistake. And I think I think Howard's going to make a mistake because I think he's going to get two different things confused because there's a lot going around in his little thing.
Yep.
They want to know about the shooting at Rock's house. They want to know about the person that shot him, and they also want to know about Burke. And I think he's going to get something confused. And I think it's going to be
off of him being shot because that's always been the sore spot. Because I don't think he came up with a logical story. As Ronnie brings up in this episode, they blamed Unique for it, but Unique got away with it.
Yep.
So now they're lost in the dark about it. So again, it's just going to be interesting to see exactly where that goes. Next up is just the rest of the club scene. As Famous is talking to Juke, he gets up the moment Kanan gets there because at this point we know there's an issue between them two. Ashley is now being hit on by Kanan.
Aisha.
Damn it. Aisha has been hit on by Kanan, which leads Juke to go in the corner and soak because she tells Kanan it's okay that she's not pursuing her. That's what she said. She said, I'm not pursuing her. She said, no, that's not me.
Yeah, that kind of happened a little bit different. I mean, they all meet, and it does come off a little flirty, but Kanan, rightfully so, asks for permission to do so here. What's the problem is that Juke very unselfishly allows it, although deep down inside that she may be interested. And I don't know, man. Listen, there's a couple of things to kind of make here, and I'm going to say as the viewer, makes sense because everybody that comes around Juke ends up. So, does she know that or not? selfishly, I want Juke to have a W, but ultimately, she may understand that
But
anytime anybody
Juke
gets
says
close
it
to me, something
multiple
happens to them.
times. She's a good girl. Like, she's a good girl. So she's saying that to separate herself from her. Like, I don't want her to be mixed up with me because she's a good girl.
Yeah, true that. So, I think it is just one of those moments where she just realized how this can go wrong, if she let it get close. But also the Corinne slander was hilarious too. But yeah, I just don't think she was overly. I don't think she was overly okay with the decision.
No,
but maybe
not at all.
maybe it's the tough decision she just had to make, and she understands that. So
now the part I've been waiting to get to. My guy with his latest song. I don't even know the name of this song, but that shit was ringing off in that club, Joe. They was spelling his name out while he was rapping. My guy got bars again, Joe. I don't know what, like this, we've not seen a comeback this great since Chingy gave us One Call Away after pulling me back. Like this is one of those type of comebacks here.
Wait, so you just saying that the hotel wasn't the song?
That was ass, Joe. That joke was ass. That wasn't a hit song either. That was Ludacris song. Luda stole that song from him, Joe. Chingy had no business being on that record.
Hey, they did have the beef about that though. That's right. That's right.
And he was signed to Ludacris. Yeah, like it. Yeah, no. You know, everybody knew Pulling Me Back was a shit with him and Tyrese. And all of a sudden he came with that One Call Away. You was like, oh, this nigga got another one. Well, I could have said Mace would Welcome Back if that made people feel more comfortable. But after The Streets Needed a Body, we get Famous.
I'm back and giving y'all a heart attack. Streets need a body. Wow.
What do you think about where this positions Famous at? Because we understood Lou cut him off because Lou said, dude, you in the drugs, you're doing a lot of stuff, you're not focusing on writing, I can't have nothing to do with you. We saw Lulu look proud of Famous while Famous was on that stage. We saw Famous look comfortable for the first time this season because he is not dabbling in the drugs with Kanan. So what do you think this is going to help propel Famous to for the rest of this season?
Actually, I don't even care. I just want to see it play out, man. But it looks like there may be means to getting that album done. So let's go. Streets Need a Body remix ain't happened. So we got this new hit. We don't know the name yet, but he back like a heart. Wait, what did he say? Did he say I'm back like a heart attack? He said, no, he back and giving us a heart attack. That's what he said. Bars.
Yeah, I wouldn't listen to much of the trash.
Where you at?
But it just the vibe was there. I give him the vibe card.
That's where you want to know. Where you at? Because he back and he give you a heart attack. Hey, these were crisscross bars. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's why I said I wasn't listening to them trash ass bars. It was the vibe. The vibe was there though, and the hook was tight. Famous stay with a hook, Joe. That's the one key part here. Famous's hooks be golden. The lyrics be ass, but the hooks be golden. So he kept it real on that one right there. Next up was Rock Lawyer as they're exiting the station, and this is when the lawyer tells her, "You have nothing to worry about. They have nothing on you. At this point, they're probably going to move forward away from you." Again, this is just confirming the same thing. The cops have absolutely nothing on Rock. They only went after her for racist intentions because they heard she had a nickname and said, "Oh shit, if she got a nickname, she must be moving weight." That's all it was for them. No other reason. But last part of it to bring up, and that is Ronnie and Unique. As this is what I mean by the best shot of this episode. After Unique gets into the argument with his girl, we see Unique racing to get Ronnie. It is a shot they get of Unique's car going straight ahead, and the camera's pointed at the grill of the car, and it shows the raindropping of it. That reminded me of Halloween 2 when Michael Myers stole the car and he was going after his sister. That fucking shot was beautiful. But when we get there, when he arrives at the place to meet Ronnie, this is where we get the brotherly fight.
Yeah, wait, and not just to play his fabric business that we haven't seen in a while. So yeah.
And this is where we get the brotherly fight we've been waiting for to see who's the big dog. And this is where, just like in Wakanda, when Killmonger beat T'Challa, and then T'Challa cheated to take Killmonger's throne. Yeah, he cheated to get rid of Killmonger. Ronnie then cheats to get rid of Unique by grabbing a pipe at the end and beating him to what appears to be his death. But I want
Whoa, wait.
to hear simple.
Wait, yeah, let me, before you get into something I want to say too. Some of the dialogue too. You know, he says like, losing everything I left you. You're a clown. Ronnie pushing his glasses back on his face. Oh, first of all, when he pushed them back on his, first of all, there's two different things they show Ronnie do. That's hilarious. Ronnie taking his glasses off and folding them down before he fights is hilarious because I'm pretty sure he needs those to see. But okay, maybe not. But either way,
not when you're fighting, you don't.
Hey, so what's the thing people do when you know they're getting ready to fight around the way? They pull up their pants and their pants do one of those things. Ronnie takes his glasses off. That was like, oh shit. Oh, here we go.
You got glasses. That better be your first move. Ain't nothing like being punched in your face with glasses on, Jay. Nope.
But I love the commentary too by the narration, 50 narration, talking about you gotta let the hands talk for you. And Unique was dogging him. And then you know, as you mentioned, the dynamics of Black Panther, he says, like, I'm the big dog now, and he's like, I'm the king of Wakanda now. So it does give that vibe. But yeah, Ronnie putting his glasses back on. I love there was so much emphasis on Ronnie's glasses this entire episode.
That's
and
his transformation.
To me, it is. That's exactly what I was gonna get at. And if y'all really know the story of like Halloween, they always talk, like, if you don't know, I'll just quickly explain it. But it is like a battle of good versus evil. And as much as we emphasis on Michael Myers and his supernatural abilities, and they always talk about, you hear folks talk about the source of his abilities is his knife, and that's not true. It's actually Laurie Strode. It's a good versus evil. As long as she's exists, he's exists. It's that duality that they cannot break from one another because it's that constant yin and yang to one another. I say that because to make my point here is that when we see Unique gets beat down and so on and gets beat to a pulp, and they show that shot and it looks like he's in critical condition, whatever it may be. And then we see the final shot of him being pushed down the hill after being out the truck. Because first of all, before I even get to that real quick, let me just ask you, when he was beat down to a pulp and they just laid him on the ground, before we get to the final shot, did you think he was dead, hurt, injured? What was your thoughts? Just that
I thought he was just knocked out. Because but he hit him multiple times. He hit him a lot with that pipe. It was, he broke. Like, he completely broke. I think that's the thing that people got to pay attention to. Unique stopped when Unique could have killed him. He stopped because that's my brother. And he let that love get in the way. And Ronnie didn't. He snapped because he could not imagine losing to Unique.
Did he? Okay, I remember we argued about this in some other show. Two things to make here: you never turn your back away from anybody you're fighting, right? Because things happen.
Absolutely.
But that sign of, typically that's a sign of disrespect. That's not the case here. And to me, because this is a brother, and it's like we fought, we scrapped, it's over. And whether y'all want to dap afterwards or you just depart, that's it. Unique did nothing irresponsible in terms of the fight, in terms of how brothers operate, right? But to my question to you is, did Ronnie actually snap, or is this his nature? To me, what does snapping looks like for Ronnie? That's my question. What does snapping look like for him?
Losing control of his emotion. When he lost control of his emotion completely there. And the problem was, Unique went into that fight, won that fight, thinking, he's my brother, he's not going to take it that far.
As he should.
Nothing Ronnie has shown you would tell me he wouldn't take it that far. Like, you got to be very careful. I think that's the key part. A lot of people just assume that because you're family, because you're brothers, that it's an all switch that you can turn on, and all your emotions go away. That's not the case. I'm letting you know that's not the case. I fought my brothers before, and as adults. And one thing I tell you, I'm never turning my back to you under no circumstances, because in the heat of that moment, it's too many emotions going on. And at that point, that's what leads you to snap, is because you can't control it. Like, we saw him grab that pipe and he hit Unique, and he hit him repeatedly. But we see it when it's not brothers, and it's shown, it's depicted as someone losing emotions. And normally you get the person to step in and they grab him and they're like, stop hitting him. There's no one there to stop him. So the only thing that's going to stop him is if Unique stop moving.
It's weird to me, man. You know why? Because I don't think he snapped at all. I think this is his true nature, because even in him beating Dean, him beating a guy outside the club, these are just casual killings to him. The snapping with a sense of rage to it, I never sensed that. And even in Dean's murder with the true Michael Myers nature, it didn't feel like rage. And again, if you're really building up the Michael Myers character, because at this point now it's not even a joke, it's truly seems to be the source of why they're building his character. Michael Myers doesn't have rage. The guy, I think, has only flipped out maybe like one time ever, and we're not going to talk about which one, but his killings are typically just his killings. Like, I just do these things. He just kills, and that's what I was getting from. That's why I'm like, I think Unique
Ronnie does just kill, but I don't think he would just kill Unique. That's the difference.
And that's
what I mean by snapping. Like, not that it's not in his nature. This amount of violence is him. That's why I said Unique messed up by turning his back to him. Because you had to know brothers that way.
Or does he not? And we still are yet to reveal what is truly the tipping needle. What has happened in 3 years? What is it that whatever brother that he thought he had, that he's crossing lines? He says he's a bull in the China shop. We got 5 more episodes here, and you all can let us know in the comments, like, what is it about this Ronnie character that's just sending him down this path of just destruction? Because nothing stops him, and at this point now, if his brother couldn't be the one to cool him off, what's motivating him?
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, what's motivating him, and is there an end to this? Because as of right now, the answer is no. This is speed right now, where the bus is never going to stop.
For me, what we're going to see that could derail him some, I don't think he can do this to Unique and not feel something.
I
think that's going to be.
Strongly wait to see what happens next episode.
That's going to be the problem, because again, he was too adamant. Unique's not going anywhere. Even if I got to beat the shit out of him to prove, because if Ronnie would have won that fight, he'd have stopped.
That's a questionable. I'm willing to.
If he'd won, he'd have knocked Unique out, and he'd have said, "Now you see who place it is." It was that he got embarrassed, and when a person gets embarrassed, you cannot control that emotional reaction to that. Like, I had family members that way that I know better than. Hell, I may be that family member to some people. Like, you got to know who you are. You got to understand when you know that you can lose all sense of your emotion.
And again, I think that's why I said, like, I don't really fault Unique here, because Unique could just have assumed that his brother has always been wild, but has he ever really crossed the threshold like this? Has he ever stepped across the barrier like this to me? So that's where I'm kind of like interested. But yeah, next episode, I'm definitely interested in seeing his interaction with Juliana. Does he go back and says, Unique's gone, I took care of him? Or did you hear what happened? Or you don't have to worry about him no more? Like, it's going to be 3 or 4 words that he says out of his mouth that's going to tell a lot, that we'll probably spend a good 5 minutes talking about, because it is going to be the matter of emotionless, emotional, or addressing it, accountability. What is it going to be? Is he going to be brutally honest, like, I took care of him by my own hands? Like, what will it be? But the last thing I want to say on this episode before we wrap up is 2 things. So the final shot now, because yes, I did not think he was dead, but you know, if they had just ended it with Unique face on the ground, that would have been interesting. But the fact that we see Ronnie putting him in the back of the car, or we didn't see him putting him in the back of the car, we see him presumably in the back of the car, the trunk, and then slid down the hill. Then that's the final shot. And with Unique holding the chain, kicking him down the hill. So like, there's a lot of reasons why he said, okay, Unique is gone. I go back to the Laurie Strode Michael Myers analogy, is that Laurie has been kicked off a roof. She has been shot. Laurie has died multiple times in front of our eyes, and Laurie is still alive. to say is because I think it is, if they're going to play off the Michael Myers and the tropes of Michael Myers, it is a good versus evil thing. In this case, we'll just say a brother versus brother and that energy between the two of them, which means that Unique possibly has the opportunity to hit a Laurie Strode and we see his eyes open up at some scene with him on the ground. It makes sense. We wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah.
Because, and then they get news. We found Unique. He was barely alive, but we found him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Ronnie didn't hear he's in the hospital, which gives Ronnie another Michael Myers moment. Because at that point, after what he did, now he understands no matter what, Unique can't live, because then Unique will not hold back.
Yeah. And
he already went through what happened when Unique was holding back and he beat him.
Yep. And I think it'll be great for the show. I think it'll be interesting for the character. I think this gives Unique, or I think this gives Joey some time off. It seems like he's getting back into the studio. It's been, what do you say, like 6 years since he put out music. So I think, I know he's been promoting coming back
2 years ago now, which is one of my favorite albums of 2021. I think that's 2000.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I swear I just seen him say that he took off 5 years. And I can't remember.
He took off a big gap between 99.
Yeah, he said I can take off 5 years off. It's a good time. Oh yeah, he was just talking about this old album. Yeah. So either way, however, whatever it may be, he looks like he wants to just do some more music, and this may be a good way of having him involved within the show. Slightly writing him off for a time being, which is the same thing I think is going to happen with Mary J and Ghost, with her
Monet
initially. Yeah.
Matter of fact, if Monet ain't dead, Unique can't be dead.
And then let's go back to Lamar and BMF. Lamar and BMF easily was presumed dead and came back. So it's very possible that, he can still be around, and it can be something that first of all, we all like the character, so we're not going to be mad at that. And I think it's not tacky storytelling if that's the case. And I think it changes everything. I mean, how's this going to affect Rock? How's this going to affect the whole drug game?
Could this be something that brings back Rock?
Yeah.
Into the game.
Yeah. So last comment I'm going to say too is this is a great episode, a good mid-season finale. Things that were missing in this episode is the Mafia, Stefano, any mention of them, and Adina. We need more Adina because we can't let that Burt death be meaningless right now. It has not been in effect outside of the first 2 episodes, and we need to see how that and the task force real focus should be an internal affair. So I'm going to need them to make sure they ramp that up when we come back for the second half here. But other than that, my hot takes for this episode is that Unique is not dead. He will be back. We will see a scene of him opening his eyes back up. He was damn near beat to death, which is a storytelling there. And I think Unique ain't gonna be so cool and collective no more. So if Ronnie is this person, could Unique tap into something? And I think Joey, as an actor, probably could be very excited about something like that. And then also, folks, don't support leaks. Because I said in the beginning, I'm saying it now before I sign off.
There you go. Just wait. Joey's going to be violent. That's all I'm waiting for, Joe. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, see y'all on January the 5th.
No. Yep. No, there is, as I mentioned, there is no new episode January 5th. So we'll be back January 12th for episode 6, Into the Darkness, which is written by Nina Manny and then Sierra Shooter Glade. So we're going back to the shooter directing.
I was never gonna get that name right. Let y'all know that now.
Yeah.
She'd have been called Ashley.
She's hella dope.
That I call Ashley this whole episode.
Glade.
No, she cool.
Yeah.
But I knew I knew I got the first name right. I know who she is when I see her.
Yeah.
You know how black folks are. Baby, I know who y'all when I see you, but I can't say your name.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about episode 305, your predictions for Unique, and all sorts of different things we talked about today. What's next for Rock? What's next for the case? What's next for Howard? What's next for Marvin? What's next for Lulu in the club? And does Famous have a banger? If it's true a banger, let us know in the chat. You mess with Famous new songs,
that on Spotify.
You let us know, no doubt. And it will be on there too. Cafe Boss. I will be there next week.
Cafe Voss presents Famous.
Anywho, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. We'll catch y'all back in 2 weeks.
Regulars.